Dun 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 dun. Dun dun dun. Hey everybody, it's True Powers Mine. This is TPIM SR Live. Today's date, October 19, 2019, the year of our Lord. Brothers and sisters, wow. All I can say is wow. This week has been a week of power. Brother Marty, did you enjoy the show last night, brother? Because I'm telling you, the trolls did. The trolls come out at night. The trolls come out at night. And they came in force yesterday. I want to apologize, brothers and sisters, that I didn't have no monitors. I know that there was apparently some trolls. The way I do the show now, I couldn't have seen the chat room because I had so much other stuff going on in the background, and I was concerned about the computer lagging and all that good stuff. But wow, I was relieved to know. Brother Raymond, welcome to the show. Peace and power, unity and victory. Yeah. What Mark was saying was so on point last night. YouTube, and I'm assuming some sort of hating deal, but basically demonetized that video. I'm going to have to go and fight for the right to get a piece of the pie on that video because of the fact that they still run ads on it. All right. They have no problems running ads on it because they know the people are coming. Sister Barbara, peace and power. Welcome to the show. Yes, it was such a great show. I picked up like 5 new confidential informants. The emails is getting hammered. The email's getting smashed, y'all. Hold on. Let me show you. I got something up here. All right, I got something up here. Hold on. Where am I? I gotta go to the album. No, I don't have I have to. Okay, never mind. I just had to do it on the screen here. I thought I had it pulled up on my phone over here, off to the side. Brother Jay, peace and power. Boy, I'm tired. I got like 6 phone calls after the show. I'm so glad that show represented everything I'm about. It's about conversation. It's about sparking thought in others. And I know after listening to that show, you guys had some ideals to think about. Now, I still have to go back. Like I said, I had several phone calls after the show, so I did get time to go back and review the Jordan Maxwell video. Normally, I watch my shows. I am one of those guys. I do watch my own show normally. But I've been so busy. Brother Rogers, welcome to the show. I've been so busy that I haven't really had time to. I mean, I'm quite literally living the show as I do it, but sometimes it's nice to actually feed on what you serve. Now, when the trolls came in, and this is all speculation, what I'm assuming is happening, they somehow reported that show last night as hate speech or something bad. Hey, get her a bottle for me. Or something bad. Now, when we look and we see all these things start coming to be, what Mark say about the judge? Oh, Sister Barbara, I just woke up. Yeah, he had it. Yeah, it was like some sort of, it was, I mean, it's right here on the tip of my tongue, but it's like, I can't It's like my mind, I'm trying to go somewhere else with my mind. It's like, what? Yeah, that was an interesting show, no doubt. No doubt. I know that's the show that all you guys were wanting. You've been asking for Mark. You've been like, come on. And I'm like, guys, he's living his life. Yeah, he's kind of, but one thing I will speak on, what he said last night, that echoed what Jordan had said, man. We have to stop sitting here, y'all, expecting these men and women to sit over here and get all this knowledge. And then they're just supposed to sit up there in a rocking chair, just rocking back and forth. I don't know. Someone may call and ask a question. These human beings, these beautiful human beings, have a life. And quite honestly, being a guy who lived by the ocean, who enjoys the ocean, who loves the ocean, like in a real sense of the world, I love that water. I love the way it makes me feel. Maybe I love myself because I love just the way the ocean makes me feel. You have a problem? War mentality. Welcome to the show, brother. Peace and power. Brother David, peace and power. Welcome to the show. We are fortunate that Mark does share as much time as he's willing to share with us, because if it was me, y'all, and I'm not going to lie, if it was me, I would always be at the ocean, man. I'm sorry. I'm living my last, my life, my last few days or whatever the case is, right here by the water, smelling the salt, feeling that wind, feeling the sunshine and heating up my skin. Oh, feeling the sand between my toes, even old smelly ass seaweed and all the bugs around it. I miss it. Walking underneath the pier, sneaking a drink down there on the ocean in my backpack. Well, like a bottle of whiskey, not beer. Sitting out there, just talking with good friends, looking at the stars. The stars are so immaculate, especially when you get away from the city and you can get down there where it's kind of so secluded. I love being able to get into that zone. See, I was meditating back then, and I didn't even realize I was doing it for real. Watching the sunset, brother James. That's perfect. See, down there in California, there's a little restaurant. It's called Charlie's by the Sea. It's like in between, I believe, like San Marcos, Encinitas, and San Diego, right there off the highway. You're literally chowing down on some good grub, man. And they have these like picture windows that are like 8 foot by 6 feet. And it's the ocean. Like you're sitting there talking to your friend or whatever. You can look out and see that sunset. When Brother James said the sunset, that was the image that popped up in my mind, man. Charlie's by the Sea. Oh my God. It was such a good time. But now that reflection's over, who's going to run with me today? Who's going to put on their armor, come out the house and battle this beast? It's time for us to mount up and go. Dun-dun. This first video was sent to me by a new confidential informant. Thank you. We're going to break it down. It's only a 3-minute video. I think we've done enough crying, yeah. Brother Will, welcome to the show. Peace and power to you. It's time for us to have some humor. So get ready to smile, get ready to laugh. And then we take this knowledge that we get and we go out here and kick some ass. Let's do this.
Fifth Avenue North.
Oh, hold on. By the way, this is a Birmingham pastor. All right. He's gonna say some things that others should be saying as well. If you're gonna take up the mantle of being a preacher or priest, then you should go out there and sting people when they need to be stung. So let's get into this.
Norval, on yesterday, we had a historical thing that happened in the city of Birmingham. They call it historical, made history and all that kind of stuff. But I'm here this morning to talk about another history. To me, yesterday was one of the most bizarre scenes I ever seen in this city. One of the most comedic scenes I ever witnessed in public.
And this is sad. Now, hold on. I want you guys have to let me try to scroll this over. Hold on. I want you guys. Hold on. Let me get my visual aid. I want you guys to pay attention to this fella right here. Pay attention to Mr. Phil Collins. Well, half Phil Collins. Pay attention to him. These two are disinterested. But the sad thing about it, look how empty these chairs. This is a town hall meeting, yeah. Look how empty these chairs are. But pay attention to this fella. This is going to be hilarious.
When I witnessed men with size 13, 14 shoes out there kissing each other in the mouth in front of little kids, it was just bizarre. It was like a freak scene going on. That's what I called it. Now, I know about the government and laws being made, but I got a law this morning that came out in Ephesians chapter 5 and verse 31. And it says, shall a man leave his mother and father and join to his wife, and they shall become one. And
now, let's break this down. What the brother's saying is the natural universal order of things. I don't care if you're Buddhist. I don't care if you're Hindu. I don't care if you're Satanist. I don't care if you're Luciferian. If a man and woman come together, you are in universal mode. And you're going to produce babies. You're going to produce people. You're going to produce life. Is that not clear to see, Sister Janice? That this game is as long as you can plug in the thing, electricity's going to flow. Now, you can be plugging in a dishwasher. You can be plugging in a computer. You can be plugging in your car. It doesn't matter. That's the universal flow. This is what's going on. This pastor's using universal flow. But he's using it through the Christian perspective. Let's continue.
To have your kids out there yesterday, 6, 7 years old, holding flags. The Bible said, provoke not your children to riot. Proverbs 22 and verse 6, 7. Train up a child in the right way he should go. And when he get old, he wouldn't depart. I'm so delighted and honored that God would have me bold enough to stand here and talk about this issue.
You see what I'm saying? You got to be bold. You got to be willing to stand up, man. Look, these people are all disinterested. Hopefully y'all can see that other dude over here. Hold on. Yeah, cool. He's up in the frame. Look how disinterested dude's face is. He don't give a damn. Oh, girl's probably contemplating some sin that she have done. Oh, boy's thinking about his taxes or his mistress. This is such an excellent breakdown. This man's trying to sincerely put out energy to correct the situation, because I don't know what I would do, man, if I took my 4 beautiful babies out there into the world and like he said, grown-ass men with size 13 shoe up here kissing and hugging and smooching. Everything but just straight up having intercourse right there in front of your face. Now, we all know that Georgia down there is known for Freak Nick. We all know that STDs is going through the roof. The roof is on fire. What's up, Brother Shannon? Peace and power. Good morning to you. This is the problem, y'all. The house is on fire. I'm telling you. Ding, ding, ding. Alarm bells. Ding, ding, ding. Man your fire stations. Ding, ding, ding. The house is on fire, y'all. Instead of getting the women and children out this mug and into a safe zone, these fools want the trannies to go first. These fools want the homosexual to go first. These fools want anybody who's twisted and debased to go first out the burning house. And then maybe we can let the rest of y'all out. What's up, Brown? Peace and power. Let's continue, man. This brother, he's gonna bring it.
Well, all the preachers was yesterday. You know what I mean? The only thing gonna make them come out them doors.
No, I tell you where the preachers was yesterday, brother. The preacher was over there chilling with the choir director, snorting cocaine. The preacher was over there macking on Sister Molly. The preacher was over there counting that cheddar to make his life better from that collection plate. That's where they were at. While you're out here in the streets dealing with the madness, dealing on the front lines, the so-called generals, which that's what preachers are in the spiritual warfare. They're the generals. They lead the army. They lead the regiment. They lead the company. But when your general is engaging in the very activity that he's preaching to his followers not to be doing, when the fire comes out, yeah, he won't be around. She won't be around. Because they're playing game. They're playing games. Let's continue.
When they stop them tithing offering in your church, you can't have Men's Day no more, and Youth Day and Women's Day. I bet you're gonna have a sign in your hand with Brother Ed then. You're gonna be standing in front of the White House then. No, y'all gotta leave us alone. You know what I mean? But somebody should have stood up yesterday. Ain't it funny? Everybody got a right but the Christian.
Now, this is where he's wrong. This is where everybody uses propaganda. Now, old boy's looking. Now, old boy's paying attention. This dude's still thinking about his taxes, and old girl's like, Christians have rights. You can always pray. You can always take your statements of affirmation, say them in your head. You can do that. Now, you can't really just run up on people and force the Bible on you. You can't do that. Now, that's not your right. You don't have a right. I know the doctrine of discovery would suggest you have the right to kick in doors, take land, take shit, and give a person a Bible, and that's supposed to be good. But that's not a right. Travis, welcome to the show. Maybe welcome to the show. Let's continue.
I'm here this morning to talk about my right, because I got a right too. I can barely say praise the Lord in public now. I might go to jail. I might threaten a lawsuit on the job. You can't tell a person to have a blessed day. Ain't it sad? Y'all, I got a text this morning, gonna share it, which I'm getting on out here. I got a text all the way from Washington, D.C. And I'm gonna break the news to y'all, and y'all didn't back me also. In 2 more years, in 2016, February the 9th, you won't be able to marry your partner that you played football with no more. You're gonna be able to marry your dog, you're gonna be able to marry your cat, you're gonna be able to marry your snake, you're gonna be able to marry your rat, your roaches. Some of y'all been with the roaches so long, you might well go and marry the roaches. You've been around your house so long, you're gonna be able to marry your broom, your mop. Ain't we going crazy in this world, y'all? Ain't we going crazy?
Ain't we though? You be able to marry the mop. You might as well go ahead and marry them roaches. He's breaking it down. The absurdity, the mockery of the universal condition of man and woman is a legal joke. How come I can't marry a ham sandwich? Brother mentality. How come I can't engage my car and wed my car, brother T? Brother Shannon, this computer has brought me joy. How come I can't make this my woman, my wife? What about that tree outside? This looks sexy. Have you seen the curves on that tree? Come on, this is the absurdity.
I I know Alabama made a lot of money yesterday. I know somebody else made a lot of money too. Duracell ain't got no batteries on the shelf this morning. All the batteries gone. I tried to find a battery for my radio this morning. Couldn't find them nowhere. I said, what happened? They said,
look at old boy. He's laughing so hard. Oh boy, right here. He's laughing so hard, dude. The battery. There are no batteries. Yeah, hold on. Let me link. Like I said, man, these confidential informants they're going through the roof, man. I got so much info to share with y'all. Hold on. Here's the link to this particular video. I tell you who else has made money. Duracell. Hold on, I gotta hear that part again, y'all. He just goes off.
Alabama made a lot of money yesterday. I know somebody else made a lot of money too. Duracell ain't got no batteries on the shelf this morning. All the batteries gone. I tried to find a battery for my radio this morning. Couldn't find them nowhere. I said, what happened? They said, Rev, they bought all the batteries last night. They celebrated some kind of way. Just bought all the batteries, but what they do with the batteries, no after that. I'm going to preach. I don't go there. You know what I mean? I don't know what they did with all the batteries. Now, Mr. Man, don't stop me in the hallway, you and your security team, and tell me I can't come here talking like I talk. Because you got a political job to do, I got a biblical job to do.
You can almost see the point in time on old boy's face when he understands what he's overstanding. And it hits him. Hold on. I want you guys to see the nonverbal language, the body language, right? Watch this. Hold on, let me get it to you. Now, don't really pay attention. Don't pay attention to old boy here. And once again, goofy pose, but don't pay attention to old boy. Watch his face. Watch this guy's face right here. Watch it. Watch it right now.
All the batteries gone.
Did you see it? Did you see? Hold on. Let's do it again.
This morning, all the batteries gone.
As soon as it's like a wave starting from the top of his head, it goes all the way down. Oh, girl, right here. She's like, huh? And then old boy perks up. Look at old boy. He finally perks up. He's like, oh shit, he's talking about batteries. And he knows what he's talking about. I think old boy is one of those DLs. But let's just continue. Because he's going to motion. You watch his face. He's going to look over here to the side and then look back as to say, get this fool off the stage. Watch dude's face over here. This dude up in that area over here.
I found a battery for my radio this morning.
There it is. Hey, security. Now he's touching on, this dude now is touching on something that dude. Yeah.
Find them nowhere. I said, what happened?
Did you see that? Did you see the head nod? Did you see the head nod? Watch right here. Hold on. I want to make sure my visual aid. Watch this dude right here. He's going to look and then he's going to do that head nod, signaling somebody to get dude off the stage. Watch.
I tried to find a battery for my radio this morning. Couldn't find them nowhere. I said, what happened?
There it was. See, nonverbal communication's everything. This dude is talking about the homosexual agenda, Brother Ward. He's talking about how his community, where he lives at, where this parade took place, the babies in that community had to sit there and watch grown men kissing, grown women kissing. They were basically recruiting for the cause in his community. See, they're not going to do it in the affluent area. You will never see a gay pride in Bel Air. You're never going to see gay pride. Well, now that I said it, you probably will, but you're never going to see a gay pride in rich areas. They always put it in low-income areas or industrial commercial areas. Most pastors are homosexual, so that's irrelevant. The relevant point is whether they're homosexual or not. Let me explain why that's not relevant. Because most pastors aren't preaching a doctrine of homosexuality. Now, they themselves may be, that's whatever, but what they're preaching, what they're speaking on is being the opposite of selfish, is being selfless. committing yourself to a man, committing yourself to a woman, whatever gender applies to you, and making a real go at this thing that we call the family business. That's what most pastors and imams and reverends and bishops and all that's what they espouse. But when this foolishness is happening, Brother War, where are they at? Like he said, where are they at? How come they weren't down there with the Bible or the Quran or the Veda or the whatever, holding up their beliefs? No. And you know, maybe quiet is kept. Maybe some of them was actually in the parade. Maybe they can't be in two places at one time. True enough.
They said, Rev, they bought all the batteries last night. They celebrated some kind of way. Just bought all the batteries. I don't know what they do to the batteries. No, I'm a preacher. I don't go there. You know what I mean? I don't know what they did with all the batteries. Now, Mr. Mayor, don't stop me in the hallway, you and your security team, and tell me I can't come here talking like I talk. Because you got a political job to do. I got a biblical job to do. And I'm going to do mine and you do yours. I'm going to stay in my lane and you stay in yours. I ain't bought by nobody. If I could die doing what I'm going to do, I'm just fine. Y'all remember Peter and Paul and Silas were thrown in jail. I'm getting out of here, Mr. Off. Don't you push that button. You remember Paul and Silas were thrown in jail? You remember the 3 Hebrew boys were thrown in the fiery furnace? You remember Daniel was thrown in the lion's den? They just said when he show up, or if he show up, they said we know he going to show up. Why are we scared today, preachers?
The reason why y'all should be scared, everybody should be scared. This is some sort of city council meeting. I want to show you guys this is a game, because this goes back to a question that was asked last night on the show. How can we do what we need to do? You better fill these seats up. And you fill up these seats, then you can take over these seats. This is what I want to show y'all. There's mad opportunity in every little city out here. Once we get enough biomass, we can turn these seats into our seats and turn those seats by people from here getting put up there. Until that happens, man, it's just like Brother T says. The gays pay big money to be able to express their opinion or their lifestyle. America is for sale. Stop complaining and buy something, people. Stop complaining and buy something. Buy a swath of land. How many gay parades went down on the Mormons' land out there in Utah? I ain't talking about Salt Lake City. They got huge ranches out there that Mormons own. People be staying on. How many gay pride parades have there been on Amish reservations? You know, those little towns that are all Amish. They don't have no foolishness because they own those towns, people. That's their hub. And if you want to continue down this path that we're on, we're going to get help. But we're only going to get help the way we're going. Let's continue this, complete this out. But let this picture be a reminder. If you want a political change, I'm talking political here, not spiritual, not economic, but political and economic still do go hand in hand. You want a political change, you better fill up them seats with like-minded people. You fill those seats up, man, you'll take that over. That's how you win. Let's continue.
Your time. Everybody coming out the closet,
but hold on, Brother Will. You don't have to, if you fill up these seats, you don't gotta buy no lobbyists, because once you get your people up here, the lobbyists will come paying you. Then you can decide if you want to take that lobbyist money or not. If not, they just ask out because you have the power, because you got the biomass. Let's continue.
When we gonna come out the closet? And all the gay people ain't show up down there yesterday. We got some down low people that show up. Some of them down here.
Wow. We got some down low. Hold on. I'll shut up and let him finish his last little speech.
If he show up, they said we know he gonna show up. Why are we scared today, preachers? Your time. Everybody coming out the closet but the saints. When we gonna come out the closet? And all the gay people ain't show up down there yesterday. We got some down low people that show up. Some of them down here.
Now there's more. Hold on, there's more. I'm not gonna hit you out with Geno Jennings today. Hold on. There it is, right here. There,
away
hold on.
1946, and the greatest.
For those who don't know, this is General Mattis. Oh, not General. This Mr. Mattis. Let's continue.
I mean, I'm not just an overrated general. I am the greatest, the world's most overrated. And this is in no small part. I will tell you,
this is also an answer from the show last night. This is the war inside of the two higher structures up top. This is another shot across the bow.
I owe New York. I owe New York for this because Senator Schumer, have I thank you for bringing my name up in a rather contentious meeting in Washington where this grew out of. So I would just tell you, too, that I'm honored to be considered that by Donald Trump because he also called Meryl Streep an overrated actress. So I guess I'm the Meryl Streep of generals. And frankly, that sounds pretty good to me.
That sounds kind of suspect to me. Sounds like he may be doing a who is that? J. Edgar Hoover move. Parading around in dresses. There's one, Sister Janice, a down low dresser.
And you do have to admit that between me and Meryl, at least we've had some victories. And some of you were kind during the reception and asked me, if this bothered me to have been rated this way based on what Donald Trump said. I said, of course not. I earned my spurs.
Did you hear what he said? Oh my God. I don't know if y'all was hearing this. Did you hear what the man he didn't say President Trump. He said Donald Trump. This is the president of the United States. He's still entitled the president title prior to Mr. Trump. President Donald Trump. He said Donald Trump. They're sending out codes right now. Listen up.
On the battlefield, Martin, as you pointed out, and Donald Trump earned his spurs in a letter from a doctor. So, not in the least bit put out by it.
Hold on.
Street of generals. And frankly, that sounds pretty good to me. And you do have to admit that between me and Meryl, at least we've had some victories. And some of you were kind during the reception and asked me, if this bothered me to have been rated this way based on what Donald Trump said. I said, of course not. I earned my spurs on the battlefield, Martin, as you pointed out, and Donald Trump earned his spurs in a letter from a doctor. So not in the least bit put out by it. And I think the only person in the military that Mr. Trump doesn't think is overrated is who you pointed out, Martin, and that's Colonel Sanders. But none of
Is this a roast of a president? I mean, is Mattis serious right now? Of course not. It's political, but it's funny. It is funny.
This can diminish the honor that I feel tonight of being here among all of you wonderful folks in this great all-American city. I too, Marianne, was thinking of my parents as I was coming in tonight. They were married just a couple blocks away in 1946 in a small chapel in St. Patrick's Cathedral. And I have no doubt.
There it is. I'm hearing Knights of Malta in the background. I'm hearing I bow down to your pontificacy, the most holy, the vicar. Yes, he is talking on code.
Believe me, ladies and gentlemen, no doubt that they would be surprised, as I was when I received the Cardinal's phone call to come here and speak at this august event. If you told my parents 46 years ago, because they would have been entitled to drown me at birth had they known how many gray hairs I was going to give them. If you had told them that I was going to be speaking to a room full of clergy, including the Cardinal, their first...
There it is. Are you starting to see the two sides now?
First question would have been, so what did he do?
followed shortly by 10 Hail Marys are not sufficient, throw the book at him. But I grew up out in the West, they moved west, and we don't get dressed up like this out there very often. To be honest with you, the last time I wore this outfit was for a public cremation.
Speaking of cream, that might be why the bow ties are white. It's hard to see cream.
True story. And I assured Mary when I sat down next to her that I had the suit cleaned since that time. I'm used to wearing a uniform, as many of you know. I was served in the U.S. Marines. I'm very proud of that service. I commanded forces. Thank you. I commanded forces, as Martin pointed out, in Iraq, in Syria, in Afghanistan. I tried to bring some peace and order to places with no organized government, chaotic and warring factions, irrational fears, and toxic hatred. It was hard work, but it wasn't until I started working.
Is he talking about the Trump administration? I mean, the internal workings?
Working in Washington, D.C., that I realized how easy I had it overseas in a combat zone. Now, this won't be news to anyone in this room, but we're going through a tough, highly partisan.
Sister Janice, Mad Dog Mattis. He earned that title murdering black and brown people. I wish it wasn't so white. I mean, not white, but so light, because you can't even see dude's face. I don't know why my little camera. What if I put the light on? No, don't matter. I don't want to mess with all that, but apparently he does.
In time here in our country. And I've never been much for partisanship. I've always believed in bipartisanship, and the greatness of our country lies in teamwork. And my record on bipartisanship is clear. After all, I've reportedly been fired by presidents of both parties. I will stand on that record. As many of you know, Donald Trump nicknamed me Mad Dog. But these days, I've turned over a kinder, gentler leaf. And I like to think of myself as less of a mad dog and more of an emotional support animal.
My God. I mean, listen to how soft and moist he's sounding in front of all these Catholics, and they're just eating it up.
And that's really great because now the airlines let me fly for free. The Cardinal Dolan I am.
Airlines. Hopefully he's not flying Lolita Express. Because you know that airline's still in operations, right? Jeffrey Epstein might be gone, but the airline remains.
I am grateful you invited me here. Frankly, Your Eminence, after some of my public remarks, I don't get invited to speak in front of polite company anymore. So I think my presence here is probably proof of the Cardinal's generosity of spirit and the balance.
I already see now. If I'm going to get this guy on the show, if I'm going to get this general on the show, I'm going to have to go through the Cardinal. If anyone has any Catholic ties or any people you know in the church there, please contact me at True Power is Mine, all one word, at gmail.com, so I can befriend the Cardinal to get to Mattis. That's how I'm going to have to do it.
Boundless forgiveness of God that I could be here with you tonight. It's been a year since I left the administration. The recovery process is going well. The counselor says I'll graduate soon. A year is, according to White House time, about 9,000 hours of executive time or 1,800 holes of golf. And that's given me some time to reflect and to think about what our country and where it's going. And that's what I want to talk about tonight. I wanted to reflect on the legacy of Al Smith, showing affection to the children as they are helped into adulthood, and what remains the greatest country, most promising country, most wonderful country on earth, and our responsibility to that generation. As I studied Al Smith, I had to look him up and learn more about him. I found what we find in many great leaders, Abe Lincoln, FDR. It's a focus on making our country a little better when we hand it to the next generation, and having a nonpartisan approach to team building. Your Eminence, when we spoke on the phone, you noted that we meet in the spirit here tonight of unity and friendship. patriotism. And so I turn to history, for we've been through tough.
Patriotism. Now let this sink in. You cannot serve two masters. He said your eminency. You can't serve two masters. Who are you going to serve? The nation state that embraces abortions, homosexuality, diversity, women's rights, minorities' rights? Are you going to be loyal to the papacy that embraces colonization, slavery, pedophiliality? Who are you going to be loyal to?
Times in the past in our country and often in history, I have found the way forward. It's tempting this evening to look back exactly a century to 1919, the year that Alfred Emanuel Smith first took office as governor of New York. His nomination as the Democratic Party's candidate for president, the first Roman Catholic to be nominated for that office by a major party, still lay 9 years ahead. It was in many ways a troubled time. Anti-immigrant fervor ran high, political corruption made national headlines. The glitz of the jazz age was real, yet working and living conditions for much of the American population were abysmal. The country was enjoying an economic boom, but a storm was on the horizon. So there's a certain resonance here with today. Tonight, I'd like to recede even further into history to 1838 into Springfield, Illinois. There, an organization in Springfield called the Young Men's Lyceum, which Abraham Lincoln's friend, William Herndon, once described as a society which contained and commanded all the culture of that place. Sort of like this gathering here this evening, except it didn't have the ladies who were the better half. That month was January, and Lincoln himself was just shy of 29. Violence by supporters of slavery had shattered the state and the nation. Now at the Young Men's Lyceum, Lincoln rose to give an address called The Perpetuation of Our Political Institutions. Not the catchiest of titles, but it defined the very thing that was under threat. It's a long speech, by my reckoning, enough for 12 Al Smith dinners, and there weren't any jokes. But the core of its message can be simply stated. After extolling the wisdom of the founders and of our constitutional system, Lincoln observed great nations crumble for one of two reasons. The first is aggression from the outside, a prospect Lincoln declared that in America's case was inconceivable. As he put it with a flourish of memorable cadences, all the armies of Europe, Asia, and Africa combined with all the treasure of the earth in their military chest, with a Bonaparte for a commander, could not by force take a drink from the Ohio River or make a trek over the Blue Ridge Mountains in a trial of 1,000 years.
Did you hear what he just said? Kemet, Asia, and Europe coming against America. What do you think is going to attack us in the future? Do you think all those people who are getting aid from China and Kemet, if China decides to go to war with the United States, they might send a battalion or two? Do you think that the new European Union, underneath the ham of Germany, might come into the fray? And I'm telling you, unlike Abraham Lincoln, not only will they drink from the Ohio River, they're going to make you bring them the cup.
No, Lincoln went on, it was not the foreign aggressor we must fear. It was corrosion from within, the rot, the viciousness, the lassitude, the ignorance. Anarchy is one potential consequence of all this. Another is the rise of an ambitious leader, unfettered by conscience or precedent or decency, who would make himself supreme. If destruction be our lot, Lincoln warned, we must ourselves be its author and finisher. I think often of Abraham Lincoln's Lyceum speech because it embodies both our greatest hopes and our darkest fears. Today, in our own time, we need only look around us. For decades, our political conduct has been woeful and a source of national paralysis. We have supplanted trust and empathy with suspicion and contempt. We have scorched our opponents with language that precludes compromise. We have brushed aside the possibility the person with whom we disagree might actually sometimes be right. We proclaim what divides us and seldom even acknowledge what unites us. Meanwhile, the roster of urgent national issues have continued to grow, unaddressed and, given the paralysis, impossible to address. And all of this was approaching a level of crisis even before the specter of impeachment arose. This is the moment for an act of remembrance of the core principles we used to know and live by, and that we now seem to have forgotten. We seem to have forgotten that America is not some finished work, nor is it a failed project. Rather, it's an ongoing experiment for which all of us bear responsibility, including a responsibility to repair. We seem to have forgotten that the foundational virtue of democracy is trust, not trust in one's own rectitude or opinion, but trust in the capacity of collective deliberation to move us forward. We seem to have forgotten that cynicism, which has now infected the Western democracies, is not realism for all the weary and knowing errors it affects. Cynicism is just cowardice. It is nothing less than a form of surrender. And finally, we seem to have forgotten too the paramount importance of those bonds of affection that Lincoln once spoke of. We need one another more than ever when the chips are down. Historically, we have come together in those moments after the attack on Pearl Harbor, after the 9/11 attack on this very city.
Codes. Those were two codes, two attacks. It's just magical how the country was divided, but those attacks happened right at the right moment, and then war can ensue after it. Coincidence or anomaly?
The surest path to catastrophe is to ignore our better angels and sever those bonds of affection. As you know, it was my privilege over a period of 4 decades to wear the uniform of the Marines, and I can tell you it's a much more comfortable uniform, the one I'm wearing tonight.
Yeah. Yeah. I think we know where those batteries went to, yeah.
But this evening, I would like to also share 2 stories from my time in uniform. One is a reminder of the importance of keeping things in perspective, especially in difficult times. The other, a reminder to see ourselves sometimes as others do, because what they see sometimes doesn't show up in our own mirrors. The first story comes from April of 2004 in Iraq, outside a city where insurgents had taken control. My forces were poised to take it back. The night before the assault, probably around 1 o'clock in the morning, I had spoken to the assault troops as they prepared for battle, and it was now time for generals to get out of the way and leave it to the young men. Afterwards,
yeah, leave it to the young men to fight the old men's battles. Shit changed, but it all stays the same.
When one Marine thought I was out of earshot, I heard him ask his squad leader, "Do you think it's going to be tough?" And the squad leader replied in a corporal's vernacular that I won't quote verbatim, but he said, "Hush and get some rest. We took Iwo Jima. Fallujah won't be nothing." I think of those words as I look at the...
Yeah, he said, shut the fuck up, dunk down, and when you wake up, we're going to kick some ass. This is the cold reality, y'all. Brother James, sounds like he's about to try to run for a much larger office. Yes, he is. He is sounding very presidential. He's sounding very statesman. Let's just say statesman. You know what he just said there? What he just talked about is very real. He went out there and looked in those men's eyes, and he sent them to go and kill other men, women, children, who knows. But what goes around certainly comes around. Just remember that.
Responsibilities that we Americans must shoulder now. shoulder today. We have succeeded against greater odds. We wring our hands about the condition of the country, yet we're not facing the Civil War or the Great Depression. It is
wrong. We are facing very much a civil war. And most certainly a depression does look like it is forming over the United States and the world.
Hard work to make our democracy work. And indeed, our Constitution was designed to make it hard. But hard it might be, it is also noble work, for we're building a country here. And my second story.
What country are you building? The country's already built, brother. Brother Wells, welcome to the show. Peace and power to you.
Also comes from Iraq. One day we apprehended an insurgent in the act of planting a mine on a major road. In fact, it was a road I'd just driven on. Now a prisoner, bound hand and foot, the Marines brought him to me because they were surprised to find that he spoke English. He and I talked for a bit, and I made clear he was lucky to be alive and that he had an orange jumpsuit in his.
Yeah, he said, I made clear you're lucky to be. Yeah, I told all my boys to kill everything living. I'm glad a few doesn't follow orders to the T. They brought this man there because he spoke English. See, once again, this is what, once again, goes back to the show last night. Whatever country you find yourself in, whatever language you find yourself trapped in, that is your cell. The only way to bust out that cell is to learn new languages and get in a position to where you can move from country to country. Get in a position to where when it starts getting hot over here, you can get to where it's cool. I don't begrudge a damn brother or sister who has the financial means to get out of this Titanic before we totally go down. But once again, I recognize for those who are left behind, you know, you want to talk about rapture, that's going to be the rapture. When those of you brothers and sisters who heard the show or maybe a show similar to it, and you actually get the universal message, that the warning signal that's being shot out to you, and you actually pack up and hiatus out. And when this thing crumbles, you're safe. All I ask of you guys is that you don't forget those of us left behind. You're going to be the logistic force. You know how they used to bootleg water, or not water, but bootleg liquor from Canada and Mexico back during Prohibition? You guys are going to be the ones who's going to be our underground supplier. Because there will be a resistance here, and there will be many more here. Some won't leave because this is our homeland. Some won't leave because they financially can't. Some won't leave because others they love can't, and they just throw their lot in with them. But you can bet your bottom dollar, when the sun rises again, this place will be radically different. Let's continue.
Future. He was, no two ways about it, the enemy, at least when he was doing his day job or his night job. America in his mind was the great Satan. But before he was loaded onto a truck to be taken off to confinement, he said, "General, can I ask you something?" And so I stopped and waited for him. He said, "If I behave myself, if I'm a model prisoner, is there a chance that my family and I can immigrate to America?" Now think about that. I wasn't going to sponsor him, but his words offered a reminder to him. His words reminded me how America is still viewed in the world. Even among those who profess to hate it, America remains a power of inspiration in their lives as well.
Because America remains a power of natural wealth, a power of land, and a power of water. You see, it's easy to understand poverty when you're living in the middle of nowhere, when you're living where there's no heavy manufacturing, when you're living where there is no Uber, there is no what's that dine-in app where you can say a couple of things. Yeah, I want a hamburger, and the hamburger shows up. People are seduced by the power and the things this nation possesses. But when they get over here, now if they're coming from Europe, totally different trip. But if they get over here and they experience the other America, then they're going to go back to this is the great Satan again. Except for they won't be in Fallujah. They'll be in Fort Hill, America. They'll be in Florence, America. They'll be in Miami, Miami, Dallas, LA, and all that. But they'll be in small towns as well. Mama Bear, long time no see. Welcome to the show, sister. Glad you made it back. I will put my trust in my ancestors and my creator, her. I am not talking about they're sorry.
Well, they see our freedoms and our vitality, our long tradition of democratic government, our chaotic and exuberant culture, and they want in. I often wish that we Americans could see ourselves through foreign eyes. It would remind us of our great good fortune and of the good things that we have in common, the good things we too often take for granted. It would remind us too of the precious deposit of freedom and the faith in our founding principles that have been passed.
I don't know if I really want to roll with any of the nation's founding principles. There's the code again. We got to rely in our founding principles. So what is the founding principles? Where's my visual aid? The founding principles, these guys are quite fine. These guys are quite fine. But when you have the full body tattoo, it's not so fine. Hold on. I want the light on this so y'all can see. When you have this full body tattoo, the founding father stuff, founding ideals is a little different than what their experience is. So I don't roll with that. Let's take this shit back to any fucking day and age in the past for obvious reasons.
Up to now, from generation to generation. That is what the 29-year-old Abraham Lincoln wanted to remind his own audience at the Young Men's Lyceum. And he called on his listeners to renew their commitment. He said, let every American, every lover of liberty, every well-wisher to his prosperity, swear by the blood of the revolution, never to violate in the least particular the laws of the country, and never to tolerate their violation by others. In 1782, in Alexander Hamilton's last letter to his comrade in arms, Lieutenant Colonel John Lawrence, he wrote, we have fought side by side to make America free. Let us hand in hand struggle to make her happy. Now, Lawrence died in one of the last skirmishes of our long, seemingly endless war for independence, never seeing the happy country for which he gave his life. Well,
I don't know, General. Are you suggesting the slaves in Virginia, the slaves in South Carolina, the slaves in Massachusetts, the slaves in Maryland were happy after the war, Revolutionary War? You think they were? Our mass is free. But we still picking. It's all about our point of view, isn't it? That's how you can decipher the codes that you're being told. Don't forget, this message was not meant for you and me. They were meant for His Excellency.
We owe him a debt, as we owe a debt to all who have fought for liberty, including those who tonight serve in the far corners of our planet. Among them, the American men and women supporting our Kurdish allies. The phrase, And I would note that the phrase, all who have fought for liberty, also includes the generations of ordinary citizens who have embodied our national ideals and paths.
Ordinary citizens. There's the code. Ordinary is code for you poor folks. You're just ordinary. See, the people to get general answer to, they're extraordinary. You're just ordinary. And those boys he was looking at in Fallujah were just ordinary people. Not extraordinary. They're not the Donald Trumps of the world with doctor's notes that gets them out of war. You see how that works? When you're extraordinary, mountains can be moved for you. Laws can be bent for you. But when you're ordinary, well, you had better just go by what you're told, boy. Let that sink in. Because the mad dog is trying to be a sly fox.
Passed them down. In Springfield, Lincoln invoked biblical language to describe how the power of this common spirit protects our nation. He said, as truly as has been said of the only greater institution, Your Eminence, the gates of hell shall not.
The only greater institution. Look how, man, he almost just dropped to his knees. And hold on. Look at, I'm going to try to stop it where you can see his face when he looks at whoever his eminence is.
He said, as truly as has been said of the only greater institution.
Look at that. He almost bowing licking the old boy's boot. Because, you know why? The Get General wants to go to heaven. Like Bubba Dick Gregory said. You get around old white people, they just start saying the beans because they want to get to heaven. Lifetime of partying and whatever they're into. All and suddenly now they can start spilling the beans. We're going to play one more minute. Then we'll wrap this thing up. You all go on about your day.
Your Eminence, the gates of hell shall not prevail against it. So, ladies and gentlemen, with malice for none and charity for all, let us restore trust in one another. Thank you very much.
Wow. Hold on 1 second. Just got a report. Check out the news. Wow. There it is. Thank you. Thank you for hipping me to this. Google's bringing drone deliveries. There it is. You know, all you guys doing Diner Dash or whatever it's called, where you buy up food or buy up, you're about ready to get pushed out the market. When they have AI and robot together, they don't need you, Brother James. Mama Bear, too bad. You're going to become an ancestor. Brother Shannon, the trick is on you, bud. Thank you for working all those years, doing what you were doing so that helped the scientists create the mechanism for our destruction. Brother Wes, sayonara. Bye-bye. Bye-bye. Brother David, you know, they're going to take the Black Law Dictionary, hand it to you while you're riding down the train, the AI train. Won't even have a human running it. More up. Brother War Mentality 85, don't think you're going to slide out. You ain't going to get away. They're going to round you up. You're going to go kicking and screaming. Sister Janice, you already know. Brother T-Doss, Hotep, my brother, you're just a useless eater. We got this drone now. We don't need you sucking up our good air. Bye-bye. Bye-bye. Let's see who else is here. Brother T. Will, whether you're on that land or not, we don't need you no more. Goodbye. Brother Travis, hate to see you go, bro. But, yep, bye-bye. Because we lack the unity, we lack understanding of common cause and purpose, and we don't see that we are all tied together, whether we want to accept this fact or not. And because we're unwilling to accept this fact, and more importantly, act on the fact, there it is, man. You can just as easily put biological bombs on this motherfucker, drop it on people. You could put a nuclear device, just fly the thing in, kaboom. You could put poisons of any type. You could put regular cluster bombs on it. You could put rockets, maybe even a machine gun or two. But you guys think, no, this is to make my life better. They don't give a damn about you. I'm telling you. But no one's going to hear me until it's like this. Till you get this freak over you, tying your ass up. Well, oh my Lord. Norwegians told to pee and shower to save water. That is disgusting. Turn your shower into a urinal? See, what kind of madness and foolishness? 11 men, many in military, attacked or sexually assaulted, and now it started. It finally started. 11 men in military attacked or sexually assaulted in North Carolina City. Priests mercilessly whipped devil-possessed woman before she fainted. Man, these headlines are just horrible, y'all. Horrible. One, first Ebola vaccine gets green light. Madison roasts Trump. Oh, we just seen that. Tension. BritX delayed, not today. King of the world. Hold on. Whoa. I thought I saw something about cholera. Well, that might be coming out tomorrow. Okay. Well, guys, if I have to be an ancestor, believe I'll be back, and I will. I'm up there. You go ahead, sister. You go ahead. You roar and show your claws to these animals out here. Well, yeah. This man on the ground here is representation of humanity. We took some hits. We're getting effed up, yeah. Well, this will conclude TPIM SR Live, yeah. Hopefully, I gave you guys something to think about. Please check out the 2 new videos. Jordan Maxwell, Mark from Anaheim. I'm working hard to bring on more folks, get more knowledge, get more feeding. Today's date is October 19, 2019, the year of our Lord. This will conclude TPIM SR Live for today. I am your host, True Power is Mine. I ask you sincerely, live your life with integrity, without hate, envy, or greed. As always, brothers and sisters, I ask you, let's try to be kinder to each other. Peace, power, unity, victory, respect, and dignity, and liberation. I'm out.